Hello everyone, IveGottenSoLucky here, and in this video I'm gonna show you, in my opinion, best speed farming build for Monk in Season 11 called Sunwuko LTK or Sunwuko LTK. This build is designed for speed farming, Nephalem rifts and bounties on T13 difficulty. So first of all, I think I need to explain which item you need to get and with which stats, right? Then gems, legendary gems, I don't know, skills, passive skills, all of this, basically how to make this build, right? And then I can open Nephalem Rift and show you gameplay and what you need to do, and you know, basically you can see why I think it's like best build for speed farming. So let's talk about gear. For our head we're using spirit stone called Gyanana Nakashu, right? Why? Because in primary we have increases slashing tail kick damage by 100%, up to 100%, monk only, right? And then we have special lashing tail kick releases a piercing fireball that deals up to 1400% weapon damage as fired to enemies within 10 yards on impact. Great item, right? And ideal stats for this item will be like dexterity, vitality, critical hit chance, slashing tail kick damage in primary. In secondary you wanna have maximum spirit and socket. Keep in mind, when I'm saying ideal stat, I mean like you know, this is like perfect stat to have, but it's not actual order in which you should get them, right? If you need this information, you can check my written guide and find it there, right? Stat priority. So if you like don't know what to roll off, right, for which stat, you can check this and maybe this information will be useful for you. So let's move on. As you probably guess, we're using 6 pieces of set called Monkey King's Garb or Sunwuko set. What it does: 2 set bonus. Your damage taken is reduced by 50% while Sweeping Wind is active, right? So good stuff, because with use build, Sweeping Wind is always active, so we're getting damage reduction. 4 set bonus. Every second Sweeping Wind spawns a decoy next to the last enemy you hit that taunts nearby enemies and then explodes for 1000% weapon damage for each stack of Sweeping Wind you have. Not very useful at all, right? But because deal no damage, and you know, this also only helps you to maintain massacre bonus when you're farming bounties or like farm outside Nephalem Rift. And that's it. We don't really care about this one. Why we're using this set? Because 6 set bonus. Lashing tail kick, Tempest Rush and Wave of Light consume a stack of Sweeping Wind to deal 3000 increased damage. Very strong damage buff, right? So we're using Sunwuko shoulders, amulet, chest armor, gloves and pants. For our shoulders we're gonna have like stats: dexterity, vitality, cooldown reduction, resource cost reduction in primary and secondary pickup radius, right? So you spend less time, you know, collecting progression orbs, right? So you improve your clear time. For our amulet we need stats: physical elemental damage, critical hit damage, critical hit chance in primary, and secondary you wanna have resistance, any resistance, physical of course best, and then damage reduction from range or melee attacks, and socket of course. For chest armor, dexterity, vitality, life in primary, and secondary resistance, damage reduction and sockets. For gloves, dexterity, critical hit damage, critical hit chance, cooldown in primary, and secondary again resistance and pickup radius. Then for pants, dexterity, vitality, armor, and primary and secondary we wanna have resistance and pickup radius. And that's it. We're also using M-Cube Ring of Royal Grandeur, reduces the number of items needed for set bonuses by 1 to a minimum of 2, right? So we're getting 6 pieces bonus, and that's it. For arrow braces we're using Nemesis bracers. Why? Because of special shrines and piles will spawn an enemy champion, so when you're running around, right, in Nephalem Rift or I don't know, you're doing bounties, you like found a shrine or a pylon, right, you you know, activated, right? You spawn the lead, you killed it, right? So you make more progression, or like at least you find materials, chance to find legendaries. And this item also helps maintain in-game buff, which is very important for speed farming. We'll talk about this weapon later. Perfect stat for our bracers: physical elemental damage, dexterity, vitality, critical hit chance, and primary and secondary resistance. Let's move on. We're using legendary belt, Cashier's Soul, right? Because Sweeping Wind gain 2 stacks every second, it does not deal damage to any enemies, right? And we're using Sweeping Wind with Rune Inner Storm, which have 10 yards range, right? So as you can see here, I used and I'm getting 2 stacks every second because nobody stays in this range, right? No mobs, because I'm in town. So this helps us maintain stacks, right? Sweeping Wind stacks, which means we're getting plus 50% damage reduction, and we have a chance, you know, deal extra damage with our Lash and Tail Kick, because every time when we cast it, you know, we consume stack, and we're getting them back because of this belt. For this belt item, we need stats in primary: dexterity, vitality, resistance to all elements, and life. Let's talk about rings, right? We're using 2 rings from set Bastions of Will because they give us highest damage possible, right? We can get from rings. As you can see here, 2 side bonus, right? When you hit with a resource generating attack or primary skill, deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. And when you hit with a resource spending attack, deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. So what it means, basically, every time when you hit enemy with LTK plus 50% damage, right? And we have a generator on action bar, so we need to hit every 5 seconds someone, I mean enemy, so we get another 50% damage buff, right? So stats for ring, you need to get like damage, when critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and resistance and secondary. It's ideal stats. You have like another option, you can use Everest Band with Boon of the Hoarder, right? And Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, and the Convention of Elements, and Obsidian Ring of Zodiac, right? Like this. Yeah, basically, if you're running with a Ring of the Zodiac, you just have less problems with cooldown, but you deal much lesser damage. I mean, less damage. So that's why I prefer these two, because you like, you know, you hit harder, so you're fighting with mobs less. So in theory, you faster, right? You don't need like additional cooldown reduction because you're using Kingdom. So same stats, right? Damage, critical hit damage, critical hit chance for Everest Band and Convention of Elements. For your Obsidian of Zodiac, you wanna have critical hit chance, cooldown reduction, source cost reduction, and resistance. And sockets over everywhere, right? On all of your rings, because you wanna use legendary gem, right? That's probably it, right? Let's move on. We're using Ingyo. What it does, your skill cooldown are reduced by 10 seconds up to 10 seconds for 15 seconds after killing elite pack and elite pack. So what it means, basically, you run around, you found elite, you killed it, right? And then your skills cooldown reduced for 10 seconds, right? So means you have infinite dash, right? I mean, you can dash like for days and for 15 seconds. So you want to be fast with this build, right? Kill elite within duration of this buff, so you have killed one and then you're searching for another one. You have 15 seconds to kill another pack, right? Or when, if you couldn't do that, you have like some downtime on Epiphany, which is like not very bad, but you're losing time. So you want to be fast with this build when you're playing this build. Ideal stats for our in-game damage, person damage, and dexterity, cooldown, and socket. When we're using Vengeful Wind, because it increases the maximum stack count of Sweeping Wind by 7. If you find one with 6, not big deal, it doesn't matter much, but of course you want a 7. Ideal stats here: damage percentage, person damage when dexterity and cooldown reduction, and socket of course. When we're using Rivera Dancers, right, because of special, again, Lash and Tail Kick attacks 50% faster and deal up to 300% increased damage, as you can see here. Ideal stats for this item: Dexterity, Vitality, all resistance to all elements in primary, resistance to all elements and Lash and Tail Kick damage in primary, and in secondary you wanna have pickup radius. So, and that's it. What else? In UCube you're using item called Scarbringer, right? The damage of Lash and Tail Kick is increased by 300% to the first 5 to 7 enemies hit, right? That's why I personally suggest you extract this weapon in cube, because you know you have a range, so if you get 5 it's not big deal, but at the same time you not deal with that damage, as much damage as you could. So you want to extract this weapon in cube, so you always have 7, right? When you know, if you found Vengeful Wind with 6 stacks in special, not big deal at all, right? And then we're using for armor slot Spirit Stone called The Loss of Seth, right? Let me show you this way. So what it gives, basically every time when you're using Blinding Flash you restore 165 spirit, right? So it's like for spirit recovery, and we're using of course Ring of Royal Grandeur, as I said before earlier. That's it, right? Now what? Yeah, let's talk about gems. In our Spirit Stone we're using diamond for extra cooldown reduction, same for chest armor and pants, but because of resistance obviously, right? So diamonds in Spirit Stone, chest armor and pants. For legendary gems we're using Bane of Powerful for damage and damage reduction against elites, and we're using a Gok of Swiftness basically for extra cooldown reduction, then for attack speed and then for dodge chance, and Bane of Trap, because this is Bane of Trap, very good gem to boost your damage, right? So these 3, and that's it. That's all you need to know about gear. And let's talk about skills now. So we're using Lash and Tail Kick with rune Sweeping Armada. Why this rune? When Vulture Claw Kick deals more damage, you ask me? Because as you can see here, all other runes have like 10 yards range radius, then Sweeping Armada 15, right? So range is wider, even though we deal less damage interior, not interior, but we deal less damage. But we're using this just to have less problem with stacks, right? Because as you can see here, landing a critical hit has a chance to increase the vortex effect up to 3 stacks, in our case 10, because we're using Vengeful Wind on our hero. So means since range is wider, we crit more often, right? So we have less problem with stacks, because if we lose them, right, we deal no damage and we're very vulnerable because we're losing 50% damage reduction. So that's why I personally suggest you use this rune, Sweeping Armada, but I mean, you can try with fire, but it's on your own risk, right? Yeah, when we're using Epiphany with Rune Desert Shroud, basically for damage reduction, we're getting like 50% additional damage reduction, then 20 spirit per second for 15 seconds, right? And more than that, Epiphany allows us to dash on top of mob, right? So we use Epiphany and then we, attack with Lash and Tail Kick, so we instantly dash on top of this mob, right? So it's like another way to move around, right? Like it's basically another dash. And speaking of dash, we're using Dash and Strike with Rune Radiance for extra plus 15% attack speed, right? You can use Blinding Speed if you like, you're not very tanky and you feel like your main problem is like you can't tank that much, right? So you're using Blinding Speed for extra 40% of chance. It's another option. Yeah, and when we're using blinding flash, we throw in favorable light for 29% increased damage, right, for 3 seconds every time when we're using blinding flash. Plus, since we're using an armory slot in cube, Spirit Stone called the Loves of Seth, this one, every time when we cast, we're getting 165 spirit back. So when we're using way over 100 fists, we throw Fist of Fury, basically to proc, this set bonus, right? And also it helps us to get stacks back in case we lose them, right? So for example, you run around, right, Rift, and when you lost stacks, so you cast it again, and when you like hit few times, so you get all stacks back and you're ready to fight again. And finally, we're using Sweeping Wind with Rune Inner Storm. Why this rune? Because as long as your vortex is at 3 or more stacks, you gain 8 spirits per second. So means they always have 8 spirit per second, which is nice. Our runes not that viable, and I suggest you use this one. For passive skills, we're using Scissor Ventilator for extra attack speed, Beacon of Star for cooldown reduction, near death experience, just to be safe, and momentum for damage. If you have problems with spirit, you can swap Scissor Ventilator for Exalted Soul, which give you 4 spirit per second and increase your spirit bar, maximum spirit by 50. If you like, for some reason don't think you need near-death experience, you can use Harmony. That's why we're trying to get, resistance and secondary everywhere. Because as you can see here, for a person who uses single elemental resistances from items, instead increases your resistance to all elements. So like if we have, for example, 206 resistance from lightning here, right, 40% of this goes in other resistances: physical, cold, fire, poison, arcane, good stuff, right? So more toughness. If you feel like you don't have enough damage, you can in theory swap near-death experience for these two: determination and relentless assault, and that's it. But I suggest you use this one. Why? I'll explain you later when we run Nephalem Rift. Basically, it just like, helps you to survive when you like distracted by something, I don't know. If you like Spike, because I'm usually farm Nephalem Rifts when I need keys, obviously, and then I need pools of reflection, right, which increase my experience gain by 25%, and this effect is lost if you die, as it says here. So I don't want to lose my pools, that's why I run with near-death experience. Main reason. That's it basically, right? Keep in mind, if you decide to run with Everest Band or Convention of Elements and Ring of Zodiac, you need to swap your generator for Mantra of Salvation Agility for extra toughness, or Mantra of Conviction with Rune Annihilation for extra damage and movement speed, right? Right, that's it. Probably all you need to know about items and skills. We're also using Bottomless Potion of Tower. Yeah, that's it. Alright, I forgot to mention, maybe some of you don't know, for example, right, by default you have mantra here. So, and how I like, change this. So you go in option into gameplay, right, and you check this option, elective mode, enabled full customization of skills selection and placement on the action bar. So when you check this option, you can move around skills, right, as you want. Just basic tip for new players, because it's people are asking this question a lot when they just started play this game. Yeah, that's it probably, right? Oh no, I forgot to mention Paragon. So Paragon, right, core tab, you wanna have movement speed 25% maximum. So if you have like 12% on your boots, right, you need to get 30% on your Paragon, because as you can see here, you may have a maximum of plus 25% movement speed from items and Paragon points. When you're done with it, you wanna get as maximum spirit, right? So 50 points in spirit, and then all in dexterity. For offense, you wanna have cooldown reduction, critical hit chance, critical damage, attack speed, defense, resistance all, and life armor, life regeneration, utility, area damage, resource reduction, life per hit, gold. Fine, that's it, right? Good stuff. And keep in mind, you wanna have as much critical hit chance as you can get, because you know it helps you maintain stacks. So right now I open wait, did I told you everything you need to know? Let's think. Yep. So let's open Nephalem Rift, and I show you why this build I think like best build for speed farming. So before that we do that, I explain you what you need to do in series. So you enter Rift, you use Vengeful Wind, so you get first stacks, right, with Kashira. Soul, right, like when you get 5 or more you're ready to go. You dash, right, you find first elite, you use Epiphany, and then you jump on top of elite, you're using generator, so you get like 2 buffs. You make few hits with Lashing Tail Kick when you use Blinding Flash, so you blind them, you deal additional damage, you restore some spirit back, and keep in mind you need to dash every 4 seconds, so you're getting plus 50 attack speed or like 40% dodge chance, depends on which rune you use, and that's it. Let's do it. Yeah, right? Right, let's go. One minus of this build. For example, you couldn't find elite, right? And when you have some downtime on you, okay, I found Goblin Field here. You have downtime few seconds on your Epiphany, right? Okay, I need to like find all these goblins. I mean, I need materials. I wasted them all for some reason. I don't know how I managed to do that. So we killed all of them. I collect all this stuff later because I'm trying to show you how to play this build, right? So I was saying basically, if you couldn't find elite, you have some downtime on Epiphany, right? And oh, okay, one escaped. What? When this happens, right, when you Epiphany down, you just better wait a couple of seconds, not big deal, right, because sometimes you like, you know, found very bad map and you couldn't find elite, right, because it's cave or like, I don't know, sewers, so not big deal, it happens, right, and as you can see here, I have no problems with killing mobs at all. Some of you think, okay man, you have like 2000 Paragon level, right, and you know, ancient gear upgraded with Cold Sun. But I assure you, if you have like 400 Paragon level and just legendary weapons, right, you can do basically same, right, and you know, you can easily farm with same speed Torment 11, 12, and after you find like ancient weapon, you ready to go, right? I won't waste time here and collect all these items, you know, while I'm recording. So let's just go back to town. As you saw, this build kinda fast, right? And you know, if you master this build, you can be faster than lightning, and it's like so cool. I like this build so much, even for like I played for 1000 I think hours with this build. Yeah, very good build. So that's it, that's all you need to know. I forgot to mention and tell you why I'm using near-death experience. So for example, you're fighting elite Molten, right, elite, you killed them and Molten explosion about to happen and you want to pick up this breaths ASAP, right, you don't want to wait when, you know, for this explosion, you want to like just grab it and go. So sometimes you misclick, right, or like, I don't know, you couldn't pick up them fast enough, right, and you can die. That's why, another reason I'm running with near-death experience. That's it, right? All you need to know about this build. just, you know, try to make this one, especially if you decided to play Monk in season 11, as I do, right? So after the Hedrick gift, I try to get this build as soon as possible, right? First build I'm gonna make, because it allows me to farm these rifts, Nephalem rifts and bounties with very good speed, right? That's it. So I hope you enjoy the guide, right? If so, feel free to like video, or I don't know, or leave a nice comment. um, anyway, thanks for watching, and I see you next time.